Despite having only 5.5 sacks in 2020, Carl Lawson was one of the most disruptive edge players in the NFL last season. He was 7th in total disruptions, which is hurries, quarterback hits, and sacks. The Jets add him to a defensive line which already boasts elite interior talent led by Quinnen Williams. Lawson has been unblockable at training camp thus far and looks to be in for a monster 2021. So how does Lawson fit into the Robert Saleh scheme? What makes him such an ascending superstar? How's he going to be utilized? I'm going to break down how he sets up offensive tackles, his pass rush plan, and some of the intricacies of Saleh's D that's going to accentuate Lawson's skill set. Let's go. Welcome back everyone to Play Like a Jet Film Room. I'm Luke Grant, and what I wanted to start today's video focusing on was how Lawson will be deployed by Robert Saleh in this scheme. He's going to be lined up at the right defensive end position almost exclusively, and often in what's called a wide 9 technique. So what that means is that Lawson will be lined up outside the shoulder of the inline tight end, or if there's no one there, that's called the ghost tight end. The benefit of this is twofold really. Firstly, it allows a clear runway for that defensive end and also puts additional pressure on the outside shoulder of the tackle as the guard has to travel so far to be a part of that block and to provide help. Additionally, the wide 9 is traditionally paired with a 3 tech, and that'll be Quinnen Williams in this scheme, and you'll see a greater number of 1v1s for one of those two players due to the spacing of the defensive line. So with that in mind, let's jump into the film now. And I wanted to start with a couple of plays against the Pittsburgh Steelers and Alejandro Villanueva. Right here, Lawson, as we just mentioned, is in that right defensive end position in that wide 9, verging on a 7 tech. And we're going to start with his bread and butter. It's the long arm inside stab. Carl Lawson, look how well he extends and gets that left hand inside the chest. That gets him separation from the tackle. Then he uses that right hand, Lawson does, to bat away Villanueva's trail hand and continue around the corner. Now, he does such a good job of reading, reacting based on what he sees the tackle do. Right now, Villanueva's in trouble. He's got his weight too far over his toes, and he opens that hip up. Based on that, Lawson makes the decision he's going to go around the corner. Later in the video, you're going to see some different techniques he uses through the same move based on what the tackle's doing. He's so good at utilizing this long arm inside stab, creates separation, and then very close to getting to the ball and the elbow of Ben Roethlisberger. It's a fantastic start. The second play I wanted to look at again against Pittsburgh, and this time there's a slight counter. He's showed him the long arm inside stab. He's now wary of that, so he hits him with this inside move. This is the benefit of the wide 9. There's such a stress on the outside hip and shoulder of the tackle. Villanueva, as we let it roll, is concerned about that. He gets out with his kick step, and then watch Lawson just jump inside with ferocity. Now, what I call this is a soft swipe swim. So you're going to see Lawson, what he does first is he does a really good job just, again, defeating the hands of Villanueva. Gives him a soft little swipe, and then watch the hard swim with the left arm, and he almost propels himself into the backfield using the follow-through from that swim move. He does such an elite job. He gets the holding penalty, and it's 10 yards for the Cincinnati Bengals. This is what people mean when they say this isn't about sacks. It's about pressures, drawing flags, and that's a great job from Carl Lawson. Third play, and the last one we're going to look at from the Pittsburgh game, is another counter, but this time it's a combination of the first two plays we've seen. You've seen him use the long arm inside stab. You've seen him go the swim move. This time, Carl Lawson, again, wide 9 outside the tight end, he fakes to throw that long arm inside stab. Villanueva starts to open his hips, he gets ready for the punch, and then watch Lawson use it as a club. So he transfers the long inside stab into a club, swipes across, and jumps inside for the sack. Such a good job, and a little subtle detail you're going to see. The guard's going to come and help late, number 60, and watch Carl Lawson just rip underneath with his left arm, bang, and get to Ben and finish it. And look, the ball comes out again. A staple of Carl Lawson, aggressive in the backfield, makes plays on the ball. I absolutely love it. Let's move on now to when he played Morgan Moses, then of the football team, now the Jets' new right tackle. And Lawson talks a lot about how he was influenced by the late Kevin Green, who was a mentor for him, and you can just see it all over the tape. We're going back to the long inside stab here. So Lawson comes off that runway, does a really good job with getting extension and length and reach, and that speed to power conversion is special. Now, this is where we talk about reading your opponent. This time, he does such a good job forcing Moses back, but you see Moses then tries to turn that hip around and get that second hand engaged, that trail hand. So what does Carl Lawson do? He decides he's going to rip underneath with the right arm, transfers, gets back inside, and sacks Alex Smith. It's a cerebral understanding of football, understanding how to defeat your opponent based on his feet, his hips, and what he's trying to do once engaged. It's a beautiful play, and I can't understate how important that is to making Carl Lawson an elite edge rusher in 2021. Again, against Moses, he set him up with the long inside stab. Now you're going to see a counter again. He does an excellent job firing off his instep here. So what I mean is he gets additional width on his rush and then uses that to just slam that outside right foot in the ground and come straight through the chest for a bull rush. So you've seen him counter with a swim move. You've seen him fake the long inside stab. This time he just goes straight through Morgan's chest. And while I don't love the technique, he drops his head a little bit. It looks a little like Ed Oliver in college. He does a really good job getting Alex Smith off his spot. He's still got more than enough speed to power conversion, and he forces the quarterback to get out of the way, dump the ball. And that's what you want to see from your edge rusher. Winning in a multitude of ways, and it's all based off one another. But the common theme is Carl Lawson screaming off the edge from a 7 or a wide 9 tech used in that right defensive end, and that's how he's going to be deployed by Robert Saleh. I wanted to finish effectively how he started, and that's looking at him from the right defensive end spot with that long inside stab. We've talked about him winning with a rip to the inside. He's won around the corner against Villanueva. Well, this time against Jason Peters, long arm inside stab, bats away that trail hand, as always, and this time watch him swim back. This combination is just nasty. The long inside stab, defeating that trail hand, and then bang, swim with the right and get to Carson Wentz. It's just beautiful. He has so many tricks in his bag, the ability to put moves together, they complement each other, and it makes him such a special player. Guys, I can't tell you how excited I am about Carl Lawson and what he can do for the Jets this year. He has a chance to be special, a type of special talent we haven't seen on the edge here for the last 20 years. Watch out for Carl Lawson. He's an ascending superstar, ready to hit the runway in 2021.